Notes, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. Thick skin, check. Let's go. Golden Blue Dude back with another video just for the college football fan. So hit that like and subscribe button if you are a college football fan. And go check out our Patreon page when you get a chance. A lot of perks over there. And don't forget our score prediction contest will start back up again in September. Every week we award $20 to whoever gets the closest to the exact score prediction of the game that I pick. The higher the Patreon, the more guesses you get. And you can win as many times as you want. Also, $5 and up Patreons get to pick the live stream that we're going to do. And you get to watch the game with me. And we have a great website designed and created by Joey Foster. I'm headed to North Carolina today, so I have to do a car video. I haven't done one in a while anyway, so sure, why not? Today I want to talk about fan bases. Specifically, what does West Virginia bring to the table for the new Big 12 and the ACC, because that's the discussion I've been having with a lot of people as far as West Virginia doesn't bring anything to the table. They don't have a large enough fan base, they don't have a big enough brand, they wouldn't bring in enough revenue. Well, my good buddy Tony Altimore, he came up with the numbers based off New York Times studies from 2011, 2014, and 2019. So they're not exact, but they're close enough to be able to do a comparison, and the numbers were actually better than what I even thought. I thought West Virginia would be a little bit lower than what they are. Surprised me a lot. Pleasantly surprised me, so I'm pretty happy about this. And you got to take into consideration that fans are more likely to identify themselves as a part of a fan base whenever that brand is strong or whenever they're having more success in football or basketball. And West Virginia isn't exactly in their glory years, so this number could be much higher. But in the new Big 12, not counting Oklahoma or Texas, West Virginia ranks number 1. Not number 3, not top 5, number 1. Where does that rank nationally? That's 30th. West Virginia has the 30th largest fan base in the nation. Are you surprised? I am a little bit. I thought maybe they'd be in the 35 to 40 range. I knew we were a top 50 brand, but top 30, I'll take that all day long. Number 2 is Texas Tech with 1.65 million. Number 3 is Oklahoma State with 1.41 million. Number 4 is BYU with 1.03 million. Number 5, Kansas State, 900,000. More than number 6, Kansas, 890,000. That surprised the heck out of me. Number 7, Iowa State with 810,000. Number 8, TCU with 790,000. Number 9, UCF with 780,000. Number 10, Baylor with 560,000. Number 11, Houston with 460,000. Number 12, Cincinnati with 380,000. Which, by the way, it is official. Cincinnati, UCF, BYU, and Houston are joining in 2023. And this actually shows you they actually do not add all that much as far as fan base. So the Big 12 might actually be in more trouble than what I thought. Now, their new TV deal is better than the old one, but it's still just a drop in the bucket compared to these other TV deals. So West Virginia going to the ACC, giving them the leverage to renegotiate their TV deal. They're going to make a ton more money, and they fit in a lot better at the ACC as far as what the other fan bases contribute to the league. Because here's the ranking for the ACC if you included Notre Dame and West Virginia. Number 1 would be Notre Dame. They are a national brand, 8.2 million. Notre Dame's a top 5 brand. I think they're either number 2 or number 3. I'm pretty sure it's number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Notre Dame. But I could be wrong about Alabama Notre Dame. It might be flip-flop. Either way, that's top 3. Number 2 is actually Syracuse in the ACC with 3.44 million. Yeah, there's a lot of people in New York that identify themselves as Syracuse basketball fans. Much higher than what I anticipated. Number 3, the Canes of Miami with 2.99 million. Number 4, Florida State with 2.79 million. Number 5, North Carolina with 2.74 million. Number 6, Clemson with 2.32 million. Number 7, Virginia Tech with 2.27 million. Number 8, West Virginia with 1.84 million. Number 9, Georgia Tech with 1.27 million. Number 10, Pitt with 1.07 million. Number 11, NC State with 940,000. Number 12, Louisville, 860,000. Tied at number 12, Virginia, 860,000. Number 14, Boston College with 810,000. Number 15, Duke, 790,000. I thought Duke would be higher. I thought a lot more people would identify themselves as a Duke fan. I guess I was wrong. And number 16, Wake Forest, 340,000. So as you can see, West Virginia is in the upper half of the ACC when it comes to size of the fan base. So West Virginia most definitely brings something to the table. They bring in more than the additions of what Pitt did, what Louisville did, and what Boston College did. You brought those guys in a long time ago. West Virginia brings in more than those 3 guys. And just under Virginia Tech. So it's a fact. West Virginia does indeed bring something to the table, and not just their fan base, but the other fan bases. The Syracuse fan base up there sitting at number 2. Problem is, in football, they really don't care, except if they were to play West Virginia, you'd tap into that $3.44 million a lot more. Syracuse fans would care about playing West Virginia. Same with number 3, the Hurricanes of Miami. You would tap into that $2.99 million even more. Virginia Tech, you would tap into that $2.27 even more. Pitt, even though we have more fans, you would tap into probably 100% of that $1.07 million, maybe even more. Louisville, you'd probably tap into 100% of that $860,000. Same with Boston College, $810,000. So the potential numbers are there. The ACC is not tapping into all of the potential of these fan bases. You bring in West Virginia, not only are you bringing in the fan base that ranks in the upper half, but you're tapping into those sleeping fan bases that don't care about football right now. So this is a win-win for West Virginia and the ACC. Now for the Big 12, this would be a huge loss for the new Big 12. West Virginia, the number 1 ranked fan base in the Big 12. This would hurt them tremendously. As you can see, bringing in UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, that actually didn't help the Big 12 much at all. Bringing in BYU, that actually helped. $1.03 million. They're in the upper half. But those other 3 didn't help the Big 12 much at all. That actually surprised me. I thought they were going to help a little bit more, especially with the new TV deal a little bit higher. But when you really think about it, you're comparing that to an old, outdated TV deal. If you compare it to the other new TV deals, it's not a good TV deal at all. So it does make a ton of sense for West Virginia to go over to the ACC. It helps themselves, because the Big 12, even if you include BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston, doesn't look like all that strong of a conference as far as a potential revenue moneymaker. You go over to the ACC, and with Notre Dame, you give them the leverage to renegotiate that horrible, horrible TV deal. You help the ACC tap into those dormant fan bases that don't care about football right now. Bring in West Virginia and play West Virginia. You better believe they will tap into those fan bases, and they will watch West Virginia versus whoever, especially those old Big East rivals. But even those other teams, Notre Dame, West Virginia, you'll get Notre Dame fans to watch that game for sure. I've talked to Notre Dame fans in person. They are very interested in a Notre Dame, West Virginia matchup. Same for Florida State. I mean, Bobby Bowden came from West Virginia, so there'd be interest there. I'm sure North Carolina, West Virginia could work up a healthy rivalry. Clemson has a vested interest. The last time Clemson and West Virginia played, West Virginia blasted them in the Orange Bowl. Since then, Clemson has won 2 national championships. They definitely want to vindicate themselves. I think Georgia Tech could be a potential rivalry, NC State, Virginia, and the list goes on. You tap into the fan bases that really don't care about football right now, bring in West Virginia, and their interest goes through the roof. So there's the numbers, guys. It proves West Virginia most definitely brings something to the table for the ACC. And it also proves that if they leave the Big 12, that would hurt the Big 12 tremendously. That's one of the main reasons why the Big 12 worked in a better TV deal, but it's still just a drop in the bucket compared to the rest. It's better than the current ACC deal, which is what they're hoping keeps West Virginia, because as of right now, it is a better deal in the Big 12 than it is the ACC. But with the leverage that West Virginia and Notre Dame gives the ACC, that TV deal will go through the roof. So if I were fan bases of the new Big 12 teams right now, I'd be very, very nervous and hoping beyond hope that you keep West Virginia. That's a big deal. Bigger than what I even realized. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. How surprised are you at how big of a fan base West Virginia has? And if they leave the Big 12, how much it hurts the Big 12 and how much they bring to the ACC. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.